All right, GG. What's good, everybody? Nick Makes Plays here. Today, I'm going to do the ultimate Despia deck guide. I'm going to show you the deck I got Diamond 1 with, which is the highest rank in Yugioh Master Duel, the Despia deck. Show you the combos, so basically how to use it, how to do all the standard combos and like regular scenarios that you're like, okay, this comes up a lot. Here's the optimal way to play the deck. And I'll also show you some matches at the highest rank, so you guys can see it in action. So first, let's just go over the deck. And if you guys like Despia, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment below what you think, stuff like that. But again, let's get into the deck, and then we can do the combos and the highest rank matches. All right, so first card, Despian Tragedy. So this card's sent to the graveyard or banished. It lets you search a Despia card. I'll show you how to use it optimally in the combos, but basically, if you don't have Aliber, you want to search Aliber because it can give you Branded Fusion. And if you already have Branded Fusion or Aliber, you want to search Add Libism of Despia to do the combo to summon Guardian Chimera next turn and resummon your Mirror Jade and use it again, which I'll be showing you. This card can be triggered off of Fusing, be triggered off of Allure of Darkness. We run 3 Allure of Darkness. It's really good to Allure of Darkness, draw 2, banish that, search Aliber. It's a lot of, you get a lot of card advantage. You can Gold Sarcophagus it, Foolish Burial, stuff like that. Next we have Maxi, best card in the game. It's generically just good against everything, draws cards, your opponent summons. Same with Ash Blossom, just, interruption, stuff like that. Ash Blossom also stops your opponent's Maxi, so if they try and Maxi you when you're like special summoning a lot, you can just Ash Blossom, they won't be drawing. So these 2 cards are very good, pretty straightforward in most decks. All right, next is Edge of Chain. You run 3 of this card, it's really good. It allows you to run Fight for Patchwork. Fight for Patchwork says add an Edge of Chain to your hand and a Polymerization, letting you do more fusions, letting you do Guardian Chimera, pushing through things, stuff like that. So it's free card advantage, and you can discard it as well off Branded Opening or Libellion to search Patchwork and get free card advantage. Very, very important card. But again, of course, I'll be showing you all these things when we get into the combos and into the matches. Next is Fairy Tale Snow. This card is insane. So basically, after your main combo, like turn 1, you have a lot of cards engraved, like 10 plus cards engraved. Then turn 2, when you Branded Fusion, you can actually fusion Albion the Branded Dragon, which needs a light. So you can send this from your deck to the graveyard and just get a free extra resource to. You can reborn it to book your opponent's, or set your opponent's monster face down, stops their plays, extends your plays. It's really good because it's the only light in the deck, so it lets you play Albion, and it gives you grind game and interruptions. Next, 3 Fallen of Albaz. I do run 3, I think it's very important, because sometimes you're going to want to Lure of Darkness away 1, depending on your hand. So, really, you don't want less than 2, because you need to use 2 usually throughout a game, because you summon multiple times, even though Libellion puts one back. And against the Runic deck, which is very popular right now, they banish cards from your top of your deck to banish them. So, if they get rid of an Albaz, then you kind of need more copies, or you could run out of them. So yeah, I run 3 because Allure. It's also just a good card. I mean, when you summon it, you can, in the grind game, like back and forth, especially when both players brick or something, you can use it, and you can fuse your opponent's monsters to make Mirror Jade. Next, Albert Jester of Despia. So this card basically just searches Branded Fusion. If you already have Branded Fusion, you can search Branded Red or Branded Lost, depending on your hand. I'll be showing you that combos again. This card is going to be going to 2. In a few days of Master Duel, you can run 2 copies. The deck will be unchanged. I think that it won't really hurt at all. You have so many ways to search this card out. Branded Opening adds it to your hand or summons it. You can search it out. Foolish Burial on Tragedy to search it. Gold Sark, Allure, all these on Tragedy to search it. So plenty of good ways to play this, and then just search your Branded Spell and Traps. Moving on, we have Tribegame Courier, insanely good one of in this deck, so good. So when your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a fusion monster, mention Fallen Albaz, which is Mirror Jade or whatever your main most of your monsters do that. So you have a fusion monster, you can discard it and negates an effect, which is really good. It's also universal. It's not like effect failure, but it has to negate things on the field. It can negate like hand effects, grave effects, and also if you Lure of Darkness it has the effect where if it's banished, you search a card that's Fallen of Albaz or mentions Fallen of Albaz. So you can search this card as the effect negation off of Branded Lost, just to have protection, or if you draw it with a Lure, you can banish it away, and you can search Albion the Shadow Dragon to draw more cards, which we'll get to. Next, we have Dramaturge of Despia. 3,000 attack. When it's fused with, you can summon it to the field. And when either player summons a Fusion Synchro XP0 Link monster, so a monster from the extra deck, you can negate its effect. So it's just a huge beater that is searchable, because you can search it with the Tragedy if you need to, or send it to the graveyard, Branded Fusion, or something Branded Opening, and it just negates their effect, and it's just more pressure to go for game really easily with 3 attack monster. We have Albion the Shadow Dragon. So what this card does, it's really complicated if you read it, but basically what it does is you send a branded spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard or Fallen of Albaz, and then you put it at the bottom of the deck and you draw a card. So basically, it's you draw a card. But what's really nice is you can send Branded Opening from your deck to the graveyard. This card has the effect, if it's in the graveyard and a fusion monster will be destroyed, you can banish this card instead, let you live Regeki, Lightning Storm, stuff like that. Also really good against the Runic. Runic have a spell right now in their popular deck that destroys special monsters, so you can have that in graveyard. You can also send Fall of Albaz to the graveyard. Pretty cool play, because I do want to make sure it's a very advanced guy that can show you everything you can do with this deck and how to master it. Let's say you have Branded in red, okay? It's a card that says target a Despia or Fallen Albaz to the graveyard, add to your hand and confuse with it. What you can do is you can Albion, send Fallen Albaz to the graveyard, okay? You can summon Aliber. If they go like Infinite Permanence to negate it, Chi-Chow, you know, any effect negation, you can be like, okay, well then I'll Branded in red, target the Fallen Albaz, put to the graveyard, and then fuse with Aliber, making him leave the field, dodging their effect negation. So to sum that up, if you have Branded in red plus Aliber, you can send Albaz to the graveyard with this. So if they try to negate Aliber's effect when you summon him, you can dodge that negation by fusing with them, putting him off the field, and then resolving in the Banish Zone. I guess advanced play-ish, but you'll see what I mean. 2 Polymerization, so these are searchable off the Fight for Patchwork, and they're really good because they give Guardian Chimera's bonus effect where he can't be targeted if Polymerization's in your graveyard, but mostly just Fight for Patchwork. Searches, you'll see. Foolish Burial, this is pretty much just says dump Despia and Tragedy to the graveyard, so you can get Aliber. This is a very important card to add consistency to the deck. It's already a 4-6 card deck because there's so many cards you need, especially because you need these like hand traps are very important in Master Duel. So with Aliber going to 2, it's even more important because the ban list can go to 2 soon. It's even more important to run Foolish Burial to just make sure you hit that Aliber because your consistency is getting hurt a little bit. But it basically says dump Tragedy. If you already use Tragedy that turn, you can dump the Fairy Tale Snow, or you can just discard this off Lebellion. Gold Sarcophagus also just triggers Tragedy. It can also trigger a Courier if you want to just draw a card off the Albion. Very good. Allure of Darkness, draw 2, banish a card. Banish a Dark. Banish the Tragedy or the Courier, get their effects. Very, very strong. Can dig through your deck and try and search for like the power cards like Aliber and Branded Fusion. 3-5 for Patchwork, insanely good card. Oh my god. Search, we already talked about it. Additive Chain and Polymerization to your hand to push through. I'll be showing you a clip today. I believe I still have it, where my opponent is playing Sword Soul and he has 3 or like 4 synchros, and I just push through all of them with normal cards, like no super poly anything, just because I have the Patchwork lets you just get extra extra things to do, like push through things with the fusions. So Branded Fusion, this is the ace card of the deck. It lets you fuse from your deck, which is insanely strong. Getting free materials. Again, I will be showing you the main combos, but I should quickly go over it. You Branded Fusion most of the time to summon the Bellion, using a Dark and Fallen Albaz in your deck. You use Tragedy. Tragedy to free search. Search is Ad-libitum of Despia. And then you can use its effect to discard a card, discard any card you want, and you fuse with itself plus the Fallen of Albaz for Mirror Jade. So that's the main thing, but I'll show you it. Branded Loss, so activation of your cards and effects include something a fusion monster can't be negated, so they can't like Solemn Judgment, Griffin Rider, stuff like that. And then also I think they can't respond. Can't activate cards when a monster's fused this way, and if you fusion summon in any way, you get to search a card that's Fallen of Albaz or mentions Fallen of Albaz. You can search this to draw a card, or search this to have effect negation. It's up to you. 2 Super Polymerization. So discard a card, fusion summon, fusion monster in the extra deck. So this basically lets you go second. And it's good at going second and first. It's one of the best parts of this deck is even if you're going second or first, it's pretty good. So going second, we have, hand traps, and we have this to break boards. We can fuse with their monsters to make cards like Starving Venom, just 2 dark monsters in the field. You can use both their monsters. We have cards like Mud Dragon in the Swamp, 2 monsters with the same attribute, different types. Or you can just summon like Aliber or whatever, and you can do it plus one of their lighter darks, or you can set Fallen of Albaz and use it with their, Synchro to your Link monster and make Mirror Jade. But it breaks boards really easily, and even going first, they can't respond. You discard a card to fuse a monster, either field, they can't respond. That's why it's so strong. They can't negate it, stuff like that. 2 Call by the Grave, generically good, but really mostly good at stopping the hand traps like Maxi and Ash Blossom. They discard them, just interact on your turn, you just target them and negate them. Cross the Designator, kind of the same thing. Just to stop Maxi and Ash Blossom mostly. So we have Branded Opening, discard a card, and then you can add a Despia to your hand or summon it. A lot of times I'll add it to my hand. I'll just add Aliber because he has more attack than defense, and turn 1 you can just summon him. So very good, and has the graveyard effect where you can banish a card, or if a fusion monster be destroyed, you can banish it to protect your fusion monsters to be destroyed by card effect. And then last but not least, Branded Red. This is pretty much the main card of the deck, or the main card, the end card you get at the end of your combo to pop off in their turn again. I'm about to get in the combo, so I'll show you. But You target a Despia in your graveyard or Fawn of Albaz, add your hand, then fuse. And it can't attack directly that turn. So it's the fusion deck, or I guess extra deck, but I call it the fusion deck. There's some considerations for like Predaplant, Anaconda, and Dark, but I think everything here is really important. So here's the extra deck I ended up with. So these are super poly targets. This one is just 2 monsters with the same attribute, different type. It's just good to generically have things you can make with both their monsters out, like, I don't know, like Herald Perfection, or like just like weird monsters like that can't be destroyed or targeted and stuff like that. With this, Starry Venom Fusion Dragon, this card's actually very important in the meta right now. So 2 dark monsters in the field, so if you have Super Poly, you can use 2 dark monsters, but the main reason this card is so darn important is Ignisters have a card called the Arrival. It's a Link monster, it's like Link 5. It has like 5,000 attack, and it's unaffected by card effects, and there's no out in the deck except for with Starving Venom. Because Starving Venom, when he's summoned, he can target one of their monsters and gain its attack points. So what you do is they play this 5,000 attack monster, it's unaffected by cards. You target it, and you gain the attack, and you attack over it. Otherwise, you have no out to it, and it's a pretty popular deck, especially in Diamond. So, very important. Next, we have Predaplant Breakers Tapelio. You can target one of their face-up monsters, give it a Predaplant counter, becomes level 1, and its effects are negated. So, you make this all the time. I'll show you one of the main combos you'll be making it with. But it's also a good super power target, and it's just generically good. We have Titaniclad the Ash Dragon. You don't summon this too often, but if you can, it's 3,700 attack. Usually, because it gains attack based on levels used to make it, and it's unaffected by effects from extra deck monsters. So that's very good. But the main reason you use this is you can dump it with Mirror Jade to summon a Fall of Abyss at the end of the turn. Usually you do this if you already have Albion in graveyard. So Albion, I run 3 because I usually summon 1 and send 2 throughout a game. So its last effect is if it's in the graveyard this turn, you send it with Mirror Jade. Then you can set a Branded in red, or you can just add or set any Branded Spell Trap from your deck to the field, or go to your hand. But you can also just summon it. You can fusion summon it by setting a light, so Fairytale Snow and Abyss to the graveyard, and then you can banish monsters from a graveyard or field or hand to summon level 8 or higher fusion, so you can banish itself plus Albaz and summon Mirror Jade, or later in the game when you're grinding. That's why it's so good in the grind game. You send Snow, and you can banish like a dead fusion plus the Albaz and get a free Mirror Jade while keeping Albion on the field. So we have Quertus. During the main phase, quick effect. Change attack of all monsters currently in the field to 0. It's very good for Sword Soul. Lets you kill people. It's kind of hard to out because it also says if it leaves the field by your opponent's card effect, you can summon a Fallen Abyss from your deck, or a Despia monster. So next we have Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. This card is extremely important, especially against Runic. So I originally had like Harpy's Feather Duster and like Cosmic Cyclone for Runic, but I realized I just can't beat this card. So this is what this card does. It takes a Despia monster and a light or dark. We control this fusion summon card. Your opponent must pay 600 life points to activate cards or effect. So every time they use a card or effect, pay 600. And so let's say they use like a card that has multiple effects, right? They pay 600 to activate it. Then if they use the effect later, it's another 600. And if you can get 2 of them on the field, that's 1,200 per card and effect, and it adds up extremely fast. And basically, your opponent can only play like 6 or so cards in effect, so you end up winning. If you have this on the field plus Branded opening in the graveyard, that's how you beat Runic. Against Runic, the second I see they play a Runic card, I just instantly summon this. They have 1 card to destroy a special monster, but if you have Branded opening in grave, you set with Albion, then you can protect it. And basically, this is your win con versus them. Instead of having to like draw unsearchable cards like Cosmic Cyclone or Harpy's Feather Duster, you can just play Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. And also, he has the effect where if they control a extra monster or a ritual, you can reborn him. He doesn't get the burn effect when he's reborn, but it's just free monster. So next is the main. There's all the main monsters of the deck are the next 3. These are the 3 main extra monsters. So this is like the juice. So this card, Fallen Abyss and a Fusion or Synchro monster. Kill control 1. Once per turn, quick effect, your player's turn. You send 1 card and extract to the graveyard, so you want to send Albion or Titaniclad, usually Albion, because Albion at the end phase says if he's in the graveyard, you get to add a Brand Spore Trap to your hand or field, so you want to send that. It's just a free card. So you already get your free card, and then he also banishes a card, or monster on the field, so you can banish one of their monsters to interact with them. It doesn't target, so it's not like you can pick one, and they can be like, okay, I'll chain and fuse it or something. It's like, it doesn't target. So once it goes through, it's gone. And then if it was fusion summoned, and it leaves your field because by opponent's card, so it's by battle or removal, then it destroys all their monsters in the end phase. So he's insanely good because you're going to use him multiple times per turn. He's only once per turn, but the way we're going to do with the main combo is you will banish one of their cards, and then you'll fuse with him, and then limit them reborn in the field again, and then you can banish another card. And you'll also be summoning a card that pops cards, which we're about to get to. So the main card you summon on Branded Fusion is this. You send Tragedy, usually, and you send Fallen of Albaz, then you can discard a card, and you can fuse for level 8 or higher, using monsters at a graveyard, banished, anywhere, basically. and you fuse with it itself and the Fallen of Albaz for Mirror Jade, and then you have the Mirror Jade, and this searches the Ad Libitum for the Branded Red combo next turn, and then that leads into Guardian Chimera. So Guardian Chimera, 3 monsters, different names, has to be fusion summoned by using monsters from your hand and field, at least one from each. And basically it says, I'll just read it. You can draw cards equal to the number of cards you fuse from the hand, and you destroy monsters. You destroy cards equal to the number of monsters you fuse with on the field. So if you fuse with 2 from the field, 1 from the hand, destroy 2 of the cards, draw 1. 2 from the hand, 1 from the field, you draw 2, destroy 1. He doesn't target. So same thing, like once he goes through, he goes through. He's huge, he's 3300, 3300, and he can't be targeted polymerization in your graveyard, which you do all the time. The main combo, which I'm about to show you, you summon Libellion, and then use itself and Fall of Albaz to make Mirror Jade. Tragedy, which you use to search summon Libellion, searches the Libitum. You Mirror Jade on your own Aliber, and then you set Branded in red, and the next turn you can Branded in red, making Guardian Chimera, blowing up 2 other cards, drawing a card, and then Libitum, Worldborn, Mirror Jade, and you can banish another card, which I guess we'll go into that now. So that's the deck. Time to show you guys the main combos. I have 3 things I want to show you. I guess one's just standard combo, one's combo that's if you also have Fight for Patchwork, which is much stronger, and then the other one is if you already use Strategy early in the turn. So let's get into it. All right, this is the duel simulator, and here I'm going to simulate 3 very common hands, how to do the optimal combos in the deck. There's 3 I'm going to go over. So the standard one is just Aliber, and then any other card in hand. It can be literally anything. So you summon Aliber, and you search Branded Fusion. Then activate Branded Fusion, and you will send Despia and Tragedy and Fallen of Albaz to the graveyard, summoning Libellion. Libellion has to discard a card, that's why we have to have any card in hand. So you discard Ash, and then since you fuse with Tragedy, its effect triggers. You search Ad Libitum, and then you use the Libellion, resolving its effect, fusing with itself and with the Fallen of Albaz for Mirror Jade. What you do next is you use Mirror Jade's effect, you send Albion to the graveyard, and then you banish your own Aliber, and the turn ends, and Albion triggers in graveyard to center this turn. You can set a Brandspell trap, you set Branded in red. Alright, so this is the main combo of the deck. It looks, you might be thinking, why did you use your own Mirror Jade? Now you can't banish your card on their turn. Well, I'm going to show you. It's insane. So their turn goes, let's say summon a monster you want to kill, like a threat. You brand it in red, target your Tragedy, and you choose to fuse. So you fuse with these 3, and you summon Guardian Chimera. Guardian Chimera triggers, and so does Ad Libitum and Tragedy. So Tragedy can search, you fuse with it again. You can just search like Aliber, I guess. Ad Libitum will summon your Mirror Jade, allowing you to use him again. And then this card will also draw you 2 and destroy cards. You can destroy the monster they summoned. Then they'll say they try and do something else on top of that. You have another Mirror Jade. You can just send Albion or Titaniclad, whatever. And this combo ends you with basically a destroy and a banish, and then you get 3 more cards. You get refill for next turn. It's pretty insane. As well as on the end of the turn, you get to search a Branded Spell Trap, probably like Branded Fusion. Now let me show you the combo if you open a really good hand, and by that I mean Patchwork or Edgem Chain. Alright, here's the combo if you have Aliber and Edgem Chain or Patchwork. So Aliber and either Patchwork or Edgem Chain. Either one's fine. So this combo is much stronger. It starts the same, it's going to end with a pretty crazy board. So same thing as start. We summon Aliber, we get Branded Fusion, we activate Branded Fusion, and we send Tragedy to the grave, as well as the Fallen of Albaz for Libellion. Libellion this time will discard the Edgem Chain. Tragedy will search. We'll still search Libitum, so same thing. And then we'll do the Libellion and the Albaz for Mirror Jade again. Now, here's where things get different. And keep in mind, this is a 2-card combo. We're getting a lot of cards here. You're like, that's so crazy to also have 2 cards. So, Edgem Chain triggers. You get to search Patchwork, and then we'll activate the Patchwork. And we'll add another Edgem Chain and Polymerization to our hand. So, we do Mirror Jade again. We send Albion to the graveyard, and we banish our Aliber. So everything's the same, basically, as last time, except for that this time we discard Edgem Chain. So the difference here is now we'll actually Polymerization Using our Ad Libitum and our Mirror Jade together for Drake's Despia, Libitum will trigger, letting us reborn our Mirror Jade, and the turn will end with Albion engraved to set their turn. We can set Branded in red. Now, how is this? Like, you can see it's obviously better because we have Drake's Despia, which lets us get an effect negation. But keep in mind, this is unused now. So becoming a new copy of it, you can actually banish immediately now. So let's say it's their turn, right? They summon a guy, we negate it with Drake's Despia. Summon another guy, we have a live banish now, so we're like, okay, we'll banish it. It's already 2 interactions. Then if they play a third card, we can push through all this. We brand it in red, target the Libitum we used last turn, and we can just fuse with it, the Mirror Jade, and the Edgem Chain. We got a Patchwork for Chimera. Chimera will activate, and so will Libitum, targeting Mirror Jade again. We will draw 2 cards, and we will destroy one of their monsters, so another destruction. And then, since it's a new copy off Libitum, because it was off the field and came back, we can do another banish, saying Titaniclad, Appleton, Lentis, whatever. So we had 1 negation, 2 banishes, and a destroy, and a draw 2. This is all of 2 cards. And we have, on top of that, we have all these monsters, right? And they're hard to deal with, because we have, like, Polarization Grade, can be targeted, all kinds of crazy stuff. So, yeah, very, very, very strong. Alright, the last combo I want to show you is what you have to do if you need to search Alibur off of Despia Tragedy, so therefore you can't search Ad Libitum off it when you fuse. You'll see what I mean. So let's say you lure Darkness away, Tragedy, you have Foolish Burial, Gold Arc, whatever, and you're like, I need to get Alibur so I can get Branded Fusion. So, Foolish Burial here, we send Tragedy, and we search Alibur. So we search Alibur so we can get Branded Fusion, but now we can't search Ad Libitum, right? And we need that for the combos we've been showing. So you'll summon this, search Branded Fusion, and then this time when you Branded Fusion, what you can do is you can just send Ad Libitum from the graveyard instead of Tragedy. And then you do the combo, you get the Libellion, discard a card, any card works. Same thing here, goes to extra deck, fusing with itself, and the Fallen of Albaz for Mirror Jade. And then you do Mirror Jade's effect on your own Alibur. And then you end the turn set with Branded in red. So now what you do is, since you fuse with the Ad Libitum, you have it in graveyard. So when you Branded in red, you fuse with this Libitum and then one other monster in hand. It can be any monster, and you do the same thing. You summon Chimera, and then you reborn it with the Libitum. Then you get to blow up a card and you can banish a card again. I just wanted to show you that's very important because a lot of hands you will be like digging and you need to lure away Tragedy and search Alibur. So because you need to search Branded Fusion to start. So basically, if you already use Tragedy to search Alibur, you just fuse with Ad Libitum from the deck instead. So those are the 3 main combos of the deck. You can also spice things up by adding in a Branded and Lost. That way it'll allow you to search McCourier to have an extra effect negation. You can search Jump Start Despia to more effect negation. This is if you already have everything. Because all these were 2-card combos, right? You still have 3 more cards, so you have a lot more stuff to work with. I can show you Diamond 1 rank game, show you that I plays at the highest level. I can also show you a game of me going second, because this is how you do the turn 1 going first. I can show you what it's like to break a board, or to go second, and, try and kill them through their negations and stuff like that. First, I'll just play a Diamond 1 rank game. As you can see, it's the highest rank in the game. I'll just, whatever we play against, and I'll show you what I would do. And then after, I can show you what it's like going second from a clip I have of me breaking a board. All right, Diamond 1 versus Diamond 1. Let's see what we can do here. Get the coin toss going, and we win. So we'll go first here. I'll try and show you guys, the combos in action. Maybe our hand will vary depending on what we draw, what they do. And I can show you when I actually, use my removal and my banishes and stuff. All right. So, pretty interesting hand, actually. I like it. So, first thing I got to look at is we don't have Alibur, right? So, what we're going to do is we're going to fight for a Patchwork and then fuse with Tragedy to search the Alibur. So, we'll go Patchwork here. We will search Polymerization and Edgem Chain. If they have Max or Ash Blossom, we also have Call by the Grave. So, overall, pretty good hand. We will then activate Polymerization to make Masquerade. This is basically our way of searching Alibur. It's Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. Tragedy will trigger, and so will Edgem Chain. We'll make Edgem Chain second to chain block the Tragedy, because we care more about making sure Tragedy resolves in case he has negations. Alright, seem to be good to go so far. Let's try Patchwork. We can only use 1 per turn, so we could discard this maybe. depending on what we want to do. And we'll search the Aliber here. So we'll summon Aliber and use Aliber's effect to search for the Branded Fusion. As I showed you in the third combo, since we already used Strategy Search Aliber, it's a pretty common scenario. We would just send Libitum to the graveyard when we fuse for Libellion. So we will fuse with a Fallen of Albaz and with Ad Libitum. What do I want to fuse? I guess I'll just get rid of Patchwork. That way we can have cards in hand to fuse with, potentially. Patchwork or Albaz, either one's probably fine. And I'll put Mirrorjade in defense, because at top level, a lot of people have been playing Lightning Storm lately. If I had Opening Grave, I'd probably put it in attack. Just because it's hard to out, and 3,000 attacks more than 2500 defense. And here, since we already have Branded in red, we don't need to use the Mirrorjade. That's one cool perk of this hand. So we get to actually we get extra banishes, essentially. We can banish here, and then reborn and banish again. So pretty straightforward board. But it's hard to deal with, because Albert also has the effect where if face-up fusion monster is destroyed, leads field component card effect, you can reborn him and negate one of their monsters. This can reborn itself. So we have a lot of recursion. Like, we pretty much can't die, I'd hope. Oh god, we're playing versus Ignisters. Alright, so versus Ignisters, I usually just immediately kill all their monsters, because they link. They're a link deck. So what they do is they need monsters to link, get the link one off that searches this like field spell, gets their whole combo going. So we're basically playing, I don't know if we call it the floor is lava, but I would want to make sure they don't have a single monster on the board. The second they play a monster, I'm getting rid of it. We'll probably win this game, because we have like 10 ways to rid of monsters. So yeah. I don't want them to link. That's all I know. Okay, I guess they would search this, and they could search this anyway. I should have waited till after they searched to use the Mirrorjade, because maybe it's the fact I didn't immediately maybe change their mind on what they're going to search or not search. But yeah, I could have waited and then put my toggle on, then banish. Maybe they would have searched something different. I don't know. That was the optimal play, but it's fine. Let's play another guy. Normal special, we can add one level 4 lower Ignister monster from your deck to your hand. That's fine. So this time we'll put the toggle on so we can see what they search and then make our play. This is very important to do this. You put the toggle on so then after they play a unit, you get the first action. So do this. Pretty straightforward. We're gonna summon using this, and I need to actually read if this is once per turn. I assume it is. But you cannot special return effect. Also cannot switch monsters. Reverse. Is it not once per turn? It says you only use this effect once per turn. I think it's not once per turn. I don't actually know. I'm gonna use 2 monsters from my field. That way I can blow up 2 cards. So we'll go Guardian Chimera here. We go Chimera 1. And Libitum 2. We're born the Mirrorjade again for another banish. And I'm gonna kill, I guess, these 2. I assume this isn't, I don't know, it reads like it's not once per turn. For the sake of the video, I'm not gonna like sit here and like take too much time reading everything. That's why I kind of played fast at the beginning with my like banishing in response instead of letting him search and then banishing. But yeah. He has a card he searched. It says if he has an Ignister monster, he can special summon it. Oh god. See, this is what I should take more time reading. It has a graveyard effect. Banish one Ignister monster from your graveyard with this card. Okay, that's fine. See, I probably should have read this. They are getting burned out though, which is nice. This would have all been avoided if I just read a bit more, but we're still gonna win, so it's okay. I could have also called by the grave if I read that to get rid of the monster, so he couldn't set that. Alright, so we're gonna do this again. Because he has a monster. So we already sent this to the graveyard, so we're gonna send Titaniclad now. We want to get as many graveyard effects as possible. This way he can't link, and he searched a monster that said if he has Ignister, he can special summon it. So he's pretty low on field at this point. But that isn't once per turn, so you do it again, yeah. He's playing really well. I'm just playing silly because I didn't read the things, but it's this card I was talking about. Alright, well we still have Masquerade burning him out. What I should have done was called by the grave his monster so he couldn't set this. But that's okay. Maybe I'll be able to later. This is a good way to also show, like, just how much Masquerade damage adds up. I'm also curious to see how much you can work with just those two cards. Who bit slop? You got the job done. So it gets Ignisters. You don't want them to link summon. I think the link just searches this field spell. Actually, I'm not sure if it's the field spell specifically or any Ignister spell. I think it's the field spell specifically. So we could have let him do a few more things and then banished. We also should have let him search and then we choose what we do, but that's okay. Splash Mage just reborns a card. So the card he targets, first it'll burn him, and then we'll just call it by what he targets. We're pretty much good to go. He just set this, so he probably can't use it. I wonder why he set that. What could that be? Alright. So we'll just call it by the target. We probably should win from here. This just makes it really hard for him to keep playing. And if he does keep playing, he's like almost dead to burn. At the end phase, we get Albion and Titaniclad, so a lot of free stuff coming our way. One card left. This is set. It's a quick play spell. You can't use them until they're set, or it's a trap. I don't think they run traps, really. Alright. So what's this? Oh, Code Generator. So he can... This card's some link from his hand. It doesn't activate, apparently, which is interesting. Alright. So I think it reborns the Splash Mage. That's fine. It's gonna have to kill Masquerade like really soon, or it's gonna burn out. I mean, there's so much recursion too. Like he kills this, we get out, or I guess Albert's banished now from Branded Red, but he kills this, we can still reborn it. We get things in the end phase. That's fine. Also, it's important to note we're playing versus the Ignister deck. If they went first, they would summon the 5,000 or 6,000 attack monster unaffected by card effects. Basically, a card we can't out without starting Venom Dragon. I was talking about this deck's pretty popular in Diamond, right? This is the only out to that card, so you want to make sure you have it in the extra deck. Not just for Shooter Poly, but to out the arrival. Alright, so at 200. If we play a single Masquerade again, he can't use any card effects. That's fine. So, since this was reborn off Ad Libitum, it doesn't get the effect where at the end phase it destroys all their monsters. It's only if it's fusion summoned. We special summoned it. Alright. We get a bunch of effects here. I guess I'll start with this one and see what he does. So we can get Fallen of Albaz, outside Titaniclad, discard another Albaz, fuse with these two for Mirror Jade. This should already be enough to win the game. And then we also have the Albion here, where we can just search the store hand. I guess we probably should use Masquerade before we did this, just to get another beater on the field, but it's fine. Not surrendering. Alright, we have an effect negation. That's good. Alright, so what we're gonna do to ensure we win this game. So play this. We do Albion, sending Snow. So we have some grind. We can like set their monsters. This is our last Albaz, but we're gonna win this turn anyway. So we'll go Albion. Albion effect. We're gonna summon another Masquerade here. That way you can't use any cards or effects, which essentially means we're guaranteed to win. So he has to sit there and let us win now. Alright. And GG. We can do this effect. We banish it. And we can search for, I guess, Halibur. But yeah, we can just attack for game here. No reason to drag it on. Alright. GG. Alright, and this final clip is me playing a viewer on stream. I'm going to show what it's like to go second. So yeah, he goes first with a bunch of synchros, a pretty strong sword soul hand, and I break it with pretty standard cards. So I thought that was an interesting one to watch. We'll see what I do. I haven't actually watched this again, but I could show you just how to go second and how to break board. So my hand's pretty standard. You know, I have like, I mean, it's a really good hand, but nothing crazy. I don't have like Super Poly or like Ash Blossom. You know, I don't have the hand traps or traditional board breakers. I'm beating him with my engine cards. I'm beating him with just my normal Despia deck. So he's probably mapping out his turn here. I guess we can slightly skip ahead. Here it's Ashina. Starts doing some Tenyu stuff and some Sword Soul stuff. Game when we played, he played Protoss and said he arc numbers of Protoss said I couldn't summon Dark Monsters and I still beat him. But I had Super Poly to like do stuff. So he summons Baron to floor here. This is also more traditional, like just how to play through like synchros or whatever. So he has Shishao, which is an effect negation. He has Berserker, and he has Baron. All right, so this is his turn, and then we'll go to my turn. Pretty good board, you know, 3 synchro monsters. All right, so it's our turn here. We draw Maxi late, so we're basically working with 5 cards because I was like, oh my god, can I just my 6th card? So we're working with 5 cards here. So we'll start by activating the Patchwork. See what he does. I don't think he negates this. It's not like a worse card to negate, but you probably save for Branded Fusion, yeah. So we will search our Polymerization and Edgem Chain. And this is what I'm saying. You really need these Patchwork Engine to break through boards. Like, let's say we weren't playing the Patchwork Engine. What do? All we have is Branded Fusion. He negates it, and we lose. So I Fusion Summon here, and I make Quertus. That's the one that makes all their guys 0. He also Maxis me. So I'm like, oh my god. Not only did he have 3 Synchro Monsters, but he has Maxi. I go for Callby on Maxi, and I believe he negates this. He's just probably just thinking, oh, well, he can't kill me through this, and if I resolve Maxi, then I win. But we do kill him through it, so it's okay. So we negate that, it resolves. We summon Quertus, which also allows us to search Alibur, so that's really nice. This also shows how to use Quertus, because Quertus is pretty good going second. And feel free to follow me on twitch.tv/MakePlays, where I play these decks live. We do these 2. I can kind of speed through it, I guess. I search the Patchwork, and I search, I believe, I'm going to go for Alibur here. I think I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, I go for Alibur. I make everything 0. He doesn't negate it with or banish it with the Berserker of the Tenyi, because what happens is if Quertus is removed from the field, I summon a Fallen Atlas in my deck, and he didn't want that. So I summon this. It gets banished, but we get... I don't know if I get Brandon Lost here or Brandon Red. I think I have to make sure I think about all this. All he has left is this negation. So we go ahead, we pick Brandon Lost. We then play our Branded Fusion. I do it this way, because this way Shishao can't negate the Albion. So this card can negate effective monster, but if you have Branded Lost, they can't respond when a fusion monster is summoned, so you can't negate my Albion, making it go through. And then, since these are all 0, 25, 25, 25, we attack for game, and this will burn for 600 if he tries to do anything. And I also send Fairytale Stone to my grave, so if he negates, if he tries to use effect negation here, he takes 600, and then we kill him. That's 8100. If he doesn't negate, we have Fairytale Snow for lethal. So, GG. So that's how you play going second. Guardian Chimera is also really good at breaking boards going second. You can like summon Alibur, and then if they like negate with Imperm, you're like, or like whatever, Chichao, you can be like, okay, I'll fuse, use them on the field, 2 in hand, Guardian Chimera, blow up their field, kind of bait things out, and then use Branded Fusion at the end to take over the board with Mirror Jade. So very good. All right, well, that's my deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Multiple deck guides coming soon. I stream every day on Twitch. You guys have to follow me there, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and make sure you like, follow, subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.